checking the listings. I'm always aware of your current position. I just hold out to the perfect condition. Coming alive.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is VitruvianPhysique. Thank you for stopping by for an exciting day. You guys always ask me like, Igor, you know, enough talk, enough informational videos, enough of this, show me what you're doing. Well, you know, your wish is my command. Today we are going to be walking you through my full chest, not chest, bench workout, a heavy bench workout to give you guys kind of a taste of the way I'm training right now. Since it's early April, I'm filming this. It's April Fool's Day, but this is not a joke, this is serious. I am exactly 2 months, June 1st, 2 months out from my powerlifting competition. That's the deadline for me to hit this target that I've been talking about for weeks, for months, 365 pounds on the bench press. And today, I'm gonna show you part of the way I'm training to achieve that goal. This is a lifetime PR for me that I'm aiming for by a considerable amount. I've never done anything even close to this. It's like pretty much a 30 to 40 pound PR over the highest weight that I've ever done. So today, I'm gonna show you guys, like, if I'm trying to do something I've never done before, I need to train in a way that I've never done before. And this is definitely kind of new for me, kind of exciting, but I think a lot of you guys are gonna love it. And if you're training and you're finding yourself stuck on something, especially the bench press, this workout is for you, because it's definitely a little unorthodox. The way I'm training these days, and I wanna preface, you know, this workout so you guys actually have an understanding, is you got these three variables, these three factors for your training. I call it the triple trade-off. You got frequency, intensity, and volume. No matter what you're gonna do, unless you're Superman or maybe on steroids, you're not gonna be able to train all three at maximum. You know, 100%, 100%, 100%. One of them, or sometimes two of them, are gonna have to give way for the other one or two. In this case, I am temporarily, while I'm training, sacrificing volume, which is why this workout, it's not gonna be that long. We're not gonna be sitting here doing 8 exercises, 3 sets, 400 reps. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be a relatively short, but sweet, and by sweet I mean pretty damn hard, somewhat painful, but good, the good kind of pain workout. It's gonna be very high in intensity, especially the bench press, where we're gonna be doing a little twist on it. It's gonna be pretty damn intense. And also frequency. These days, since I am focusing primarily on the bench press, I pretty much said, I'm not saying goodbye to, but put everything else as a secondary priority after the bench press. I am training chest, well, the bench specifically, or variations of it, 3 times, not per week, but every 8 or 9 day cycle. I am pretty much in the gym hitting some version of chest training or bench training every 3 days. That's a pretty damn high frequency. This isn't bro split where someone's training once, you know, one muscle group per week. This isn't even a push-pull legs where you're essentially training twice per week per muscle group. This is once every 3 days. The frequency is pretty damn high. The intensity, as you guys are about to see, is pretty damn high. So because of that, we have to some extent sacrifice the volume, but it's worth it, trust me. Our first exercise, and honestly, this is like 70% of the focus of this workout. Everything else is kind of like after additional bonus, just to kind of like, you know, hit this, hit that. The beginning, this is like the real bread and butter of a workout. We are going to be doing the bench press, but kind of a little twist I'm gonna be doing. You guys know the reverse pyramid style of training, where essentially you start off really hard and over time you kind of get a little bit easier. Let's say an individual is doing something like 4 sets, they may start off with like their max weight. You know, they may start off with, like in my case, maybe I'll do something like 275 on whatever lift. And then next set, I'll drop it a little bit, 255, 225, I may end up going as low as 205. Essentially, it's a reverse pyramid because you start off like with the maximum and then you get progressively easier over time. Sometimes you can also do the opposite. Instead of doing it weight-wise, you'll do it rep-wise. You'll keep the weight the same, but you'll do something like 10 reps for set 1, 8 reps for set 2, 6, 4. Essentially, the whole point of reverse pyramid training is you are making one of the factors, one of the variables in your training easier throughout the sets in your exercise. This could be reps, weights, whatever. But in this case, we're doing things a little differently. We're actually not changing those quantitative, those variables. We're gonna be keeping weight the same, we're gonna be keeping reps the same, and as the sets go on, the only thing we're gonna be changing is the actual exercise itself, because we're starting with the bench press, but it's not just one exercise, it's kind of like a group family of exercises. The way we're going to be doing this is starting off with 2 sets of 3 reps with a pretty damn high weight. Today we're going as high as 90% of my estimated 1 rep max with the pause bench press. press in the beginning. This is a pretty damn hard variation or alternative. Most guys out there, whatever they can, regular bench, essentially just touch and go, subtract like a solid 20 to 30 pounds, that's most likely what you can pause bench. When you're actually doing the pause bench, because you have to bring the bar to a full stop, this is actually an official powerlifting meet bench press. For all you guys out there who don't know how powerlifting meets work, you're actually not allowed to do touch and go, where essentially as long as it comes and touches your chest, you immediately explode out. And some guys, they even give it a little bit of a bounce. You can't do that. In official powerlifting meets, the judge will actually sit there staring at you, and he'll say when you could push, when you can actually press the weight up. And usually it's a solid 1, maybe a 1.5 seconds. They'll actually wait, it's kind of like they count to like 1 Mississippi, and then they explode out as much as you can. This makes the exercise significantly more difficult because the bar is coming to a complete stop, and you really lose that elastic explosiveness effect off the chest. Definitely does add probably another 20 to 30 pounds of additional difficulty. We are going to be doing that first. Then sets 3 to 4, the next 2 sets, we're going to be doing standard, basic, regular bench press, which although is still difficult, it's not as difficult as pause bench press. This is kind of how we're doing this reverse pyramid, where we are actually starting off and getting an easier exercise, and then moving on to the third version of the bench press. The third exercise, we are going to be doing something called a slingshot bench, which is a regular flat bench press using the slingshot. This is kind of like a bonus kind of a piece of equipment that some people out there, especially more, not just intermediate, but more advanced and some elite lifters use. This is essentially a piece of fabric which you kind of go around your biceps, and it's elastic. So what happens is at the top of your bench press, there's not much elasticity, so it doesn't really do anything. So at the top of your bench press, it's pretty much like you're doing a regular bench press. But as you come down, this elastic band across your chest, it actually starts to have some pullback, some resistance, and it actually wants to bring your arms closer together. It's like an elastic band that you are stretching. So the way that it actually makes the exercise a little bit easier. At the top, there's not much resistance, there's not much elasticity. You're essentially doing, if you're benching 315, you're benching 315. But at the bottom, it adds an additional 30, 40 pounds of elasticity of counterweight. Your 315 at the bottom becomes more like, it's hard to say, probably 30 to 40 pounds less. Your 315 suddenly becomes like a 280, maybe a 285, something like that. This overall, once again, makes the exercise just a little bit easier, and that's how we're going to be doing the reverse pyramid. We're not changing weight, we're not changing reps, we are simply doing different variations of the bench press, progressively getting easier, and that's how we're going to really just milk everything that we possibly can out of my chest. We're going to start off with the hardest possible version of the bench press with a pause, then progress to a normal version, and then progress to a slightly easier version with this slingshot tool, adding a little bit at the bottom. And this is going to absolutely obliterate my chest. And I can't wait to give it a shot. And you guys out there, if you're interested in trying something new, especially if you're stuck on the bench press, you wanna really just shake things up and shock the body with something that's never done before, and try to incorporate some different versions of your classic standard, plain old bench press, definitely give this a shot. Either way, I've been talking for like 10 minutes, I've been ranting. Time to give it a shot. Let's hope I don't embarrass myself. So the weight we are going to be doing today is 300 pounds. The big three. This is approximately it's around 90% of my estimated 1 rep max, which currently I'm putting at 335 pounds. I haven't actually tested my true 1 rep max in well over a year, but based on estimated 1 rep max calculations, kind of like, the formula where you go, I did 315, you plug that in 3 or 4 reps, and then it kind of gives you an output. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Plus 335 is the highest weight that I've ever done in the past. That was my old PR. Again, I don't know what my current PR is, but that's what we're going with. And yeah, that's where the intensity comes in. That's 275, so 295, 300. Since it's gonna be a pause rep, and since I don't actually have a referee or anything, I just do it in my head, I go with something which I consider to be relatively conservative. Some people say oh, I'm doing a pause rep, and they're like, pause. That's bullshit. If you train like that, then when you get into a real life event, like a competition, you're in for a rude awakening. Usually, I'll probably in my head, I literally go 1 Mississippi. So it's a decent 1 second pause, which I think is average. Not too much, not too little. If I can do this, then I think in competition, I'd be okay. Yeah, that's hard. Bodybuilding is like pumping. That's when you're kind of going for the pump, you know, higher reps, more sets, longer workouts. For me, when I train heavy, my version of powerlifting is pretty much the opposite. The rest times are longer. We're talking 3, 4, 5 minutes, especially between the final sets when it's really starting to get hard. The pump, it's sort of there, but it's not anywhere near as high as if you were to go do way less weight. For example, if I'm doing 300 pounds, 3 sets of 3, you know, 3, 4, 5 minute breaks in between, although I'm gonna get a heavier and in some ways harder workout, it's not going to be as much of a pump. You're not gonna get as much of that exploding chest feeling as if I were to go and do something like way less. We're talking like 225, like 2 plates, which is like what, like 80, 90 pounds less, but then pump it out for like 3 sets of 10, 12, 15 reps or something like that. But it doesn't mean that necessarily one way is better training than the other. It's just two sides to the same coin. And in my case, at least this time in my life, at this point in my training career, this is the way I choose to train, and this is efficient.
Nice.
Okay. 2 sets, pause, bench, we're good. Set 3, exercise 2. This is gonna be same weight, same reps, 300 pounds, but this time, no pause. 2 things which I'm really trying to focus on. Number 1, keep your ass on the bench. This personally for me is a big problem. I tend to like really like push my legs up and push my ass up. And this actually makes the exercise a little bit easier because as you put your lower body up, it almost turns the flat bench into more of a decline bench press, which for most of us will be a stronger exercise. 90% of you probably bench less than you decline bench. Problem is, you can't do that. You're doing the powerlifting meet, red lights, and they don't count it. Second thing I'm trying to focus on is you'll notice when I set up on the bench press, I really almost try to retract my scapula and almost like dig my scapula, my shoulder blades into the actual bench. Difficulty level of this kind of stuff, if you want to go by the RPE scale, the rate of perceived exertion, where a 10 is absolutely to failure, 9 would be like, okay, it's hard, but you've got 1 rep left in the tank. A 5 would be, it's easy, you've got 5 reps left in the tank. This stuff for me, definitely, everything pretty much is at 9. And then like the final set, I'm anticipating like this one, or the final set of my slingshot bench, probably gonna be like 9.5. Not 10, but it's close. Yeah, that's a 9.5. Oh. Extra large for an extra large man. So although this is great for overall chest training, it's a good way to overload on your bench press and essentially do more than you normally are capable of. This is really great, especially for triceps. Again, because whatever weight you're lifting, it's less at the bottom, but at the top, where it's your tricep actually locking out, that's mostly all you. You probably get like 5 pounds of additional elasticity at the top, but at the bottom, that's where it helps like, I don't know, 30, 35, 40 pounds. So great way to specifically train the lockout tricep portion of the bench. I'm gonna deviate a little bit from the original plan. The last set I did with this actually felt a little easier than I thought. Like that didn't feel like an RPE 9, that probably felt like an RPE 7. I'm gonna do this last one, the last bench press of the day. I'm gonna do it in AMRAP, as many reps as possible. I get 3, that's fine. I get 400, that's fine too. Okay, that's it. Bench press is done. My arms, my pecs are pretty shot. Not just my actual muscle groups, but even your central nervous system. It does take a certain toll, especially when you're doing heavy, low rep, powerlifting style training. We're done with this. We're gonna unrack it, rest up for like a few minutes. We're gonna move on to the second half of the exercise, the workouts. Seriously, man. Brain, everything, just done. And the rest of it's gonna be a little bit more, that's where we get a little bit more into bodybuilding stuff. That's where we're gonna be doing more RPE level 7 type training. We're gonna be starting with just basic, nice and easy, 3 sets of 8, dumbbell bench press. The focus here is not to absolutely crush it. We already did that, we satisfied that. Now it's gonna be just to drive a little bit of additional volume, really contract the pecs. And this is kind of like my style of training. A little bit of powerlifting, finish off with some bodybuilding, power bodybuilding, whatever you want to call it, powerlift.
Brad Castleberry.
Why? All right, let's try that again. So one of the things I focus on with this one is at the top, don't just like boom, boom, boom. At the top, just for like 1 second, actually squeeze. Remember, the main purpose, the main focus of the pectoral muscle is to bring the arms across the body. So when you're at the very top and your pecs have done that main function, give it a squeeze. Did I say function? I'm gonna drop down to 10 pounds. Couldn't even complete 8 on that, whereas I should be leaving a few reps in the tank. So we did the heavy stuff, now it's time to take it easy. That felt better. That was more of the correct intensity or difficulty level. It's like, you know, I had a couple more reps in the tank. The last one was just like too much. Sometimes you gotta leave your ego at the door. Gotta leave your ego at the door. Get it? Hey! Pro tip for a lot of you guys out there who want to do weighted dips and you don't want to just do the classic thing where you just hold a dumbbell in between your legs and you like drop it on your ankles and it hurts like hell. Go and buy yourself a chain. You can get it at your local Home Depot, Home Hardware, whatever you guys have in the States, kind of like your home development store, whatever you want to call it. And get yourself like a carabiner, one of these. Honestly, it's like, what, $3-5? And then you just clip it onto your belt, your regular weightlifting belt, as opposed to having to go and buying a specific, you know, $50, $60, $70 dip belt, which is something you're only going to use for 1, maybe 2 exercises for dips and weighted pull-ups. You can buy this for like, what, $10 total? Save yourself a little bit of money. And also, I don't want to have to carry around 2 different belts in my little gym bag all the time. So today we're going to be doing 25 pounds plus 5, 6, 7 pounds, give or take, and chains around 30 pounds, 3 sets, 10 reps. Again, RPE 7 to 8. It actually felt a bit easier than I expected, so I pushed it to 12 reps. We're gonna do 3 sets of 12, because I don't feel like going and getting more weight. Probably my 2 favorite heavy tricep exercises would be number 1, dips, weighted dips, as I just showed you guys, and close grip bench press. I don't know why, but there's something about the close grip bench press. I freaking love it, because it's like a tricep exercise, but it's also a compound lift, so it's like, you know, the best of both worlds. I actually double looped it because there was too much slack and it was hitting the ground. And if you do that, then technically when you're at the bottom, you lose a little bit of that resistance because it's no longer on you, it's on the ground. So, gotta get every last pound. This, with those heavy sets of bench, they're just shot for like the next 3 or 4 days at least. Plus, like a big reason why these days, especially when I'm doing chest. Other stuff like legs and back, that's a different story. But right now, focusing on chest, because I'm training so frequent, like once every 3, maybe 4 days at the absolute most, I can't train as long. Otherwise, if I do, that's great. Then I'm gonna have to rest longer. And then I'm working out like, you know, maybe twice every 7 or 8 days, as opposed to something like 3 times every 8 or 9 days. I'd rather have shorter, harder workouts, but more of them, more frequent of them. Again, something's gotta give. You wanna train intensely and high frequency, that's great. Volume's gonna come down. You wanna blast the volume, frequency or intensity, or probably both to a certain extent, are gonna have to come down. Just gotta choose what you wanna do. And right now, me trying to get strong, yeah, I made my choice. Oh shit, that was hard. Okay guys, that's it. Workout's done. It was hard, it's short, but sweet. Try this workout. You don't have to do the whole workout, you don't have to do this word for word, but take a few of the things that I'm doing. Maybe, especially the bench, in the beginning, kind of doing that, like those different versions of the bench press, trying it up, you know, doing the pause rep to really train that explosiveness off the chest from 0 miles per hour. It's not a constant movement. It's go, stop, and wait around, you know, think about your life for a little bit, ponder about the existence and existentialism, and then try the flat bench, it's a little bit easier. And then if you have the slingshot, try that, which is also a little bit easier. Or if you guys want an alternative, something similar, which you don't need any piece of equipment for, at your gym, bench in a squat rack. And when you're benching, instead of using the slingshot, you can bench from pins, which are a few inches off your chest. So instead of you know, benching just freely all the way down to your chest and off, you kind of bench like down to here. It's resting on like the safety bars, and then you just train that explosiveness, that final, the lockout. That's a similar way of doing the same thing as a slingshot bench, where it focuses heavy weight on your lockout without actually having to have the piece of equipment. And just try something out, experiment, especially if you're working on an exercise such as the bench and you want to try something new, maybe you're stuck, you've been at a plateau, it's not really increasing as it used to a few months ago, give this a try. I guarantee it's going to kick your ass, and when it does, come back and thank me later. All right guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.